Meet Whitney. Whitney is a UX designer, and she's been tasked with creating and updating some materials her team will use as part of communication with their customers. Through the lens of Whitney, we are going to see how leveraging the Acquia Marketing Cloud, we can create emails, SMS messages, and manage forms for data collection. In this view, Whitney's going to pull up an email her team has already started working on. To modify the look of this email, Whitney's going to pull up our email builder. This is where your team can easily modify and add elements to the emails that they're working on. In this instance, Whitney's going to add an additional row of content. So we'll add a single row here, and we can do that by easily dragging and dropping that element to where we want that to live on the email we're working on. Following adding the row, this is where we're going to add some additional content. So we'll add a nice title, and we'll add some options for social. Now, as I work with text, we do have some options around formatting. We can do things like bold text or italicize, underline, everything that you would expect within that traditional WYSIWYG editor. We can even save rows for the future or even pull from pre-saved content. So there is a lot of flexibility as your team thinks about the workflow, creating these emails, leveraging our email builder. Now, as your team is creating emails, you'll even be able to preview how this email will render across different breakpoints like mobile. Now, Whitney's happy with what she has so far, so we'll go ahead and publish her changes. What we just saw was how users on your team do not need to be developers. They don't need to write code or be super technical to create these beautiful emails. Now that Whitney has created her email, she's off to her next task, which is writing a new SMS message her team can leverage with different campaigns. In this view, she will create a new text message. Again, this is going to be a bounce back SMS message. So we'll go ahead and add the appropriate details. Of course, we can add more text in this workflow. But I also want to mention, ultimately, marketers like Vanessa can decide, do I want to send an email? Do I want to send a text message? Or do I want to do, some dynamic content on the website? Or I can bundle those together into what are called marketing messages. Vanessa and your team can use marketing messages to determine and let the system pick the next best channel. So she can actually grab a marketing message and say, for example, if Paula has email as her preferred communication channel, then send an email. Or if Paula has SMS as their preferred communication channel, then send a text message instead. So rather than your team dictating the ultimate next action as it relates to your campaigns, you can have your customers define their preferences, which is so important as we think through experiences across multiple touch points. Customers want to be communicated with via their preferred channel. Now, rounding out her last task, Vanessa needs to modify an existing form her team is able to leverage with different campaigns. So in this view, we can pull up the different forms that the team currently has in place within the solution. Now, as you can imagine, these forms are made up of a variety of fields: first name, last name, preferred communication channel. We can delete existing fields, add new fields. You can see the level of flexibility your team will have as they work through and build out these forms. In this case, Whitney's going to add a new text field. In this text field, we're going to ask visitors for their favorite color, which is just another data point in the future that we'll use to drive behavior. Now, I also want to mention, since we're natively integrated with the platform's content management system, any information that your team has will be available instantly to leverage in the CMS, whether that is with an existing component or any page on the website. So we'll go ahead and have Whitney save our changes. Through the lens of Whitney, we saw how leveraging the Acquia Marketing Cloud, we can create emails, SMS messages, and manage forms for data collection. Again, this is important because we covered how your team can leverage the Acquia Marketing Cloud to craft emails and messages for multi-channel journeys and forms for data collection.